Mr. Fitness, baby! Boom!
Mr. Fitness 2.0, United States Navy, tip of the day, bang! Sit back, kids. Time for a little bit of nutritional education. And what I want to put out today, guys, is something that's very, very helpful when it comes to actually calculating your macronutrient goals for the day. And it's based on something that is called the Diabetic Exchange system. And this was put out by the ADA, by the American Diabetic Association, I believe some years back. But a good, well, I guess colleague or a guy that I've followed for quite a while, Mr. Mark Lobliner of MTS Nutrition, put out a book years back, I believe 2008, that focused and taught how to actually calculate your macros using this Diabetic Exchange system that was put out. And it's very, very helpful. Now, if you want to track your intake using the MyFitnessPal app on your phone, that works great. I've done that in the past as well. It works tremendously. But in my humble opinion, this works just as well if you're not trying to get ready for some sort of physique or bodybuilding show and you don't need everything to the letter. This actually works very well and is very, very efficient for tracking your nutritional intake without calculating every single calorie. And it'll get you in the range where you need to be to meet your goals, bar none. Gain weight, lose weight, maintain. This is a system that I have used for years now. Just if I'm not competing, this is a system I will use to track my nutrition. So, and I'm going to show it to you guys. So I'm going to share some knowledge with you. Sit back, get comfortable, and here we go. Ready? Ready? Bye. I don't have a whiteboard. This will have to do. All right. So diabetic exchange system. So what it is we're counting servings rather than every single little calorie. And I'm going to show you what this amounts to. Take notes, kids. Here we go. All right. So our macronutrients consist of proteins, fats, and carbs. Right? Those are our three macronutrients. And now if we're going to utilize this diabetic exchange system to track our macronutrients rather than pencil and paper every single calorie, this is how it works out. It breaks down into servings rather than calories, right? And so what we have here is our protein. One serving equates to 6 to 8 grams of protein is one serving, or 1 ounce of lean meat. 1 ounce of lean meat is right about 6 to 8 grams of protein, which would equate to 1 serving of protein. Fats, second on the list. 1 serving of fat is 5 grams. So 5 grams of fat equals 1 serving. This would be coming out to right about 10 almonds. This would come right about to 2 teaspoons of peanut butter. This would come right about to 1 cup of 2% milk, which has 5 grams of fat, and also your 6 to 8 grams of protein, which would also count as a serving of protein. So that's it. That's just some examples. As far as looking up the macronutrients, you want to be sure to read nutrition labels and things. But next on the list, carbs, and 1 serving of carbohydrates equates to 12 to 15 grams. This would come out to, let's say, as an example, 1 rice cake is about 12 grams of carbohydrates. 1/4 cup of oatmeal is about 12 to 13 grams of carbohydrates. What else? 1 slice of bread is about 12 to 15 grams of carbohydrates. So these all account to 1 carbohydrate serving. Very simple, right? So rather than counting calories, you're counting the servings of each macronutrient based on what the nutritional label says on whatever food that it is. The ones that I just quoted to you I use them so often that you use them long enough they're stuck in there. You look at food differently. You already know how much protein is in a glass of milk without even looking at the label after a while. So yeah. Now let me put this in a little bit better perspective. Sit tight, kids. Getting to the point. All right. Bang. Next page. All right. So, just as an example, for macros, for someone, let's say an average adult male, who has a maintenance calories of about 2,500 calories per day. That's about average for maybe about 170 pound adult male. So he would set his protein right around body weight, which would be 165 grams of protein. Now, what do we do with that? Our one serving of protein with a Diabetic Exchange is 7 grams, right? So we take that 165 grams of protein for the day, divided by 7. My pointer. Divided by 7 for per serving, right? Comes out to 23.5 servings of protein for the day. So whenever he's counting a meal, this individual, if it has 40 grams of protein, that weight equates to right about 6 servings of his protein allotment for the day. Got it? All right. So next on the list would be fats. Do this in reverse. This is difficult. For this individual, his maintenance fat intake would be about 70 grams of fat per day based on his calories. And so we divide this by 5 because one serving of fat on the Diabetic Exchange is 5 grams. So 70 grams of fat divided by 5, this individual would shoot for about 14 servings of fat every day. 14 servings of fat. Like I said, another example, one serving of fat is one whole egg. One whole egg has 5 grams of fat and 7 grams of protein, right? So it would be one serving of protein and one serving of fat would equal one whole egg, right? Gotcha. All right, bang. Third on the list, carbs. The carbs we fill in by default. Once you have your protein set at body weight, you have our fat set at 0.4 to 0.5 grams per body weight, and then carbs actually fill in the rest by default. So 300 grams of carbs for this individual, and divided by 15, right? Because 12 to 15 grams is one serving of carbohydrates on the Diabetic Exchange. So we take his 300 grams of carbs divided by 15, and it equals 20 servings of carbs for the day. However this individual wants to allot it, 20 servings of carbohydrates for the day. And that's it. So by counting your servings, you come up pretty ballpark with this 2,500 calories. It might be slightly over because we're not going to count the trace. Like if you're counting one piece of bread as 15 grams of carb, well, it's also going to have maybe like 2 grams of protein and 1 gram of fat. But if it's minuscule, we're not even going to count that. You just kind of toss it aside and don't worry about it. So is it going to be exact? No. Is it going to be exactly like counting on MyFitnessPal? No, but it's going to get you pretty damn close, and it works very well once you get the hang of it without having to track every little single thing. I can tell you I've used it personally for years now. It works great. So that's it. That is the Diabetic Exchange system explained. If you liked this video, if you felt it was informative, please comment, like, share, subscribe. Mr. Fitness 2.0, United States Navy, with the brain smarter than the average bear. Boom!